This microbrand legend offered another sleek and sporty watch with more than one way to tell the time. But can you tell there's something odd on the dial? I shouldn't be introducing Zelos to you. Quite frankly, I already ran out of introductions for this company. You just have to know that when it comes to microbrands, Zelos is one of the forerunners when it comes to quality, service, and overall visual aesthetics. But now, here's the thing. Instead of giving you an introduction, I would just rather relate to you the experience that I have when it comes to unboxing this. So I made an unboxing video, and as many of you may already know, that when I unbox a watch, I asked you guys to give a comment, and that comment would make it in to this video review. Now, one of the comments gave such an impression to me that now I cannot unsee what that commenter said about this watch. So find out what makes it such a memorable and probably quite funny visual impact. And of course, what makes this Spearfish dual time a really good watch. We present to you yet another Spearfish from Zelos. This model collection was on a bit of an evolution from the brand, as it started out as this slimmer and sleeker version of the Swordfish that is now becoming a sort of a collection where Zelos is free to experiment on the complications that it could offer. Here they are offering a grandate version of the Sellita S300 caliber that I can tell you from a design standpoint is an excellent slim caliber that holds a surprising amount of complexity. From complex to simple, this 40mm watch will always have a place in this watch pirate's slim wrist and fat heart, as it's got this enjoyable mix of sportiness and class. At first, it may feel intimidating in operating this seemingly complicated watch, but I assure you it's as easy and smooth and intuitive to set all of its features. Unscrew the crown to unlock the piece. Then pull the crown completely to set the main hours and minutes. As you do this, you'll also notice that the second time zone will move along with the minutes hand. It just looks complicated, but you're still just setting the time. At the first step, you can set the second time independent to the main hour and minutes. Now bear in mind, if you overshoot your target time, you'll have to cycle through it again. It's just lovely to see this animated rotating roadmap. It's a cool touch compared to just seeing this teeny tiny hand moving from hour to hour. If you turn the crown the other way, you'll be able to see the grand date complication move from date to date. It's very entertaining to see both this form the date as you turn the crown. Grand date complications are a little bit harder to pull off on mechanical movements, as this requires not just extra real estate on the dial, but also extra gears because each disc moves at its own specific intervals. It's an amazing feature that we all can enjoy from a Zelos, along with its more staple armaments. One that has been invaluable on any watch is a quick-release bracelet mechanism. Zelos is a pioneer in the microbrand scene when it comes to this feature and has been offering them ever since their introduction in their watches. This set the trend for many other micros, so much so that it's more unusual for a brand not to offer this feature nowadays. Another thing that we watch pirates love is a good micro-adjust clasp. This one is the spring-held kind with generous notches for adjustment. This is a bit of a luxury considering that the Spearfish already has some short and narrow links that could have been adequate enough for all wrist sizes. Now that may sound like a petty, unsolicited complaint, but really, well, it is a petty complaint because that's what we watch pirates do. For the rest of you sane people out there, you will be very grateful that Zelos includes these not just on their higher end models, but all across their assortments. When it comes to assortments, there is much to choose from as the brand explored many watch types through the years. You can see from model to model how they refine their facets and lugs with each iteration. The general Zelos identity of straight cuts and facets is clearly defined in all of their designs. There are of course a lot of variations to give each watch its own personality. Variations often come in the guise of exotic materials such as Damascus metal and meteorite dials. Even in their more radical cases, you can still see the same Zelos identity because many of the angles remain the same. No one will fault you into thinking that the same person designed all of these watches, because it is. As a microbrand, Zelos still operates at an intimately small operation that assures each customer will get the close attention that they need. The watches that you see now are products of constant conversations between Elshan, Zelos founder, and the community of passionate enthusiasts of the brand. I remember back in the time that there have been many requests made for strap options, and the brand answered all of them in spectacular fashion. To this day, I hold Zelos straps in high regard as they are not just premium feeling but also very durable. As you can see here, one Zelos watch can literally pirate another strap easily as many of them have the 20mm lug width and sports a harmonious aesthetic. Here, the Eagle 2's aviator strap just makes it feel at home with the dual-timed Spearfish, giving it a more globe-trotting feel. As I was trying this out, I got this crazy urge to try out the Spearfish bracelet on the Eagle 2. I trusted that Zelos is an all-knowing, all-wise brand to consider this option on all of their watch designs. But no, all this proves is that I'm an unreasonable, overly demanding watch pirate as this piece did not fit the Eagle 2. Fair enough. Now let's get back to the Spearfish and see what else can fit its slug design. Zelos watches are often known for their value proposition, and this is further enhanced by the straps that you can play around with them. Artem Straps is equally known for offering some of the best straps in the business with their own blend of durable and luxurious materials. This Cell Club strap is well padded and nicely textured, providing a different aesthetic complement to the Spearfish. It's very similar in effect compared to Zelos' own aviator strap. The difference is that Artem's is a bit more rounded and contoured opposed to the angular shape of the Zelos band. If high contrast is not your thing, a more muted tone can bring another persona to this configuration. This is where this loopless version of the sailcloth strap comes in, with a more streamlined effect of hiding the excess strap material. I paired this gray band with this kind of deployant that passes the point side of the strap under the buckle side, giving it a more elegant appearance. Artem offers a number of deployant options, including the more popular Leap Spring variant. On this navy blue strap, this kind of deployant lends a more premium action as this leap spring mechanism needs simply to be lifted to deploy, and it also delivers a satisfying snap to secure. It also adds to note that other higher-end brands such as Chanel and Richard Mille popularized these deployants, and it's now available to be paired on your Zelos. Now, some of you added in your own comments when I unboxed this watch. Robert Littlehawk says it's an interesting, if slightly busy watch for smaller wrists. Melvin Ramirez disagrees and says it's a beautiful watch, but it's too big for his wrist. But it's Mr. Zanzibar that really affected me with his comment. He says that he loves that blue dial, but that dial resembles that surprised emoji face. Why do you have to say that now? It's something that I can't unsee. Funny emoji face or not, it's still a great looking watch with more than capable functions inside. It just so happens to be seemingly looking back at you. So before this thing starts to have its own entrance music, a habit of sneaking under my bed and gaze at me as I sleep, let me examine it closer so I can send it back to Elshan. Handling this watch in the metal is quite a revelation. It takes full advantage of its lightness as a titanium case and bracelet watch. It's also got the 1200 Vickers hardness treatment, ensuring that it will stay pristine as long as possible. One can argue that most traditional dual-time watches have this air of regalness that belongs to the lounges and ballrooms. The revelation here is that titanium can have that same place when executed in the proper way. Here, it just looks pretty much the same as any classical watch design until you get to wear its feathery weight. From the back, you can see that nicely decorated Celita caliber that's equally dressed up in the dial side as it shows through the clear dial surface. You can also see that very high boxed sapphire crystal that really emphasizes that vintage aesthetics of this Zelos Spearfish. You will really focus yourself on the second time zone disc and the two date discs that make up the grand date. That is the whole point after all for this watch. It showcases the traveling culture under that Zelos flair of angular hands and indexes. It not only gives you a very animated date change, but also literally showing you the globe at the 6 o'clock position. All this while being highlighted by an applied index frame. All the shiny facets gives an excellent light play option that sort of competes with the Horologies underneath. Another great thing about this translucent dial is that it unveils to you how the left date wheel works. The complication keeps the same amount of digits, but the left disc jumps on specific numbers from the right. This leaves you with some duplicate numbers, all for the sake of cost cutting. Zelos made sure, however, that no expense is spared for the second time zone. Not only does it have loomed hands, it also has an illustrated disc. Speaking of loom, it's hard to compete against Zelos. Not only did they apply it on their applied indexes and hardware, but also on the date discs and that very nicely illustrated second time zone. And in true Zelos fashion, you're treated with both green and blue luminescence. There's simply a drive of excellence here that we don't expect anything less from this brand at this point. We've spoken at length about that Zelos frenzy, and now it's close to becoming the Zelos excellence is the next brand signature to talk about. The brand worked hard to ensure that the frenzy is actually more manageable and stocks are more readily available for its adoring fans. This model, for example, is still available weeks later after its release, so if you have $2,000 to spare, a grand date dual-time Zelos may be lurking around as your next purchase. It may seem a bit odd to have a classy multi-zone watch in a titanium shell, but looking at what Zelos has been offering, it's more inevitable than unusual. As I return this watch to Zelos, someone will inevitably own this piece and find its new home. A new home to terrorize with that astonished emoji face dial. This is the Spearfish dual time from Zelos. Now, this company has gone a long way from offering Asian or budget caliber watches, and now they're offering Swiss movements at a regular basis, and this Spearfish is also becoming their platform for unusual complications and unusual designs, and I'm very happy to see that the Spearfish continues to grow and expand in the many different styles and variants that they are showing. I would have loved to keep this, but this is a loaner from Zelos, so it has to go back to Elshan any day now. And I was very happy and I was very honored to have this with me for the longest while. And sorry about the massive delay. We have so many watches to review, but this one is a good one. I love the ice blue clear dial that it shows. It also shows that decent decoration on the dial. Very nice. And now you cannot unsee that emoji, that shocked emoji face on this dial. Thank you so much for that. But that's the internet for you. So never listen to everything that the internet tells you, otherwise you'll be spoiled like me. But nevertheless, it was a fun watch. In all honesty, I may choose a different watch for the price, but it's a very unique Zelos that many of you will probably enjoy. It's very light, and that's a very cool complication there, and also it's a loom monster. So what do you guys think about this Spearfish dual time from Zelos? Did you like it? Did you find it mildly irritating that you cannot unsee that emoji face now? Comment down below, let me know what you guys think.